The spring is best known for severe weather season across the country and specifically in the weather community. And as the spring rolls along, every year meteorologists are asked over and over again, both before severe weather events and after events have passed, how do you know that event was coming a few days earlier? And how do you know it was going to be that type of severity? Or how do you know it was going to be that type of severe weather? Meaning, how do you know it was going to be hail? Or how do you know it was going to be smaller hail mixed with a damaging wind threat and no tornado risk? Well, all of the credit does not lie with the television meteorologist and meteorologists scattered about. It lies at the National Weather Service and the desk of the Storm Prediction Center meteorologists who work on severe weather forecasting day in and day out. That's 24/7, 365. These meteorologists are some of the most innovative and cutting-edge scientists we have in the weather business, and they start your severe weather outlooks with what you're seeing on your screen right now. Check this out. This is a SPC log P diagram, and yes, I'm well aware of what these are because we certainly dove into these in depth in meteorology school. However, as you could probably take away from just the picture on your screen, a lot of data, a lot of lines, a lot of math, and a lot of numbers on your screen, and you're probably going way over the head there. But what I'm saying is we don't usually have a lot of time to specifically calculate those numbers here at the television stations as we're providing daily updates to you to keep you and your family safe back at home. But the Storm Prediction Center, located in Norman, Oklahoma, is doing this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And what that tells them is they take all of that scientific data and they break it down into what they think it's showing, maybe a few days out, maybe a little longer. And then they start adding in actual data from the atmosphere in terms of overall picture. So you got your SPC log P with all the numbers and the lines and the scientific looking data. When you add in something like this, water vapor imagery on your screen, this gives them a real-time idea of what's in the atmosphere that they think is eventually going to change into a severe potential. All of that to say, they add in more tools as they move closer to a severe weather event, and they break it all down. These meteorologists, as I mentioned, they're some of the best in the world and some of the most innovative, so they can smell these severe weather events coming a mile away. And as they add in more tools like your upper level pattern or synoptic analysis, they start defining those areas that could see the severe risk. And what I'm referring to is your severe weather outlook. Now, if there was a severe weather outlook and a severe weather risk in place for today, what you would see on your screen is the specific levels of severe weather outlook, meaning say there was a level 1 for some, level 2 for others, and level 3 enhanced risk for some. You'd see parts of the map highlighted in that color. But as you get closer to the event, that Storm Prediction Center, they're not satisfied with what they initially had a few days out. They're not just going to roll it out there and let it ride. They're adjusting that. The second the models come out a few times a day, they're adjusting those colors, and so that's why you see them all shift. But the main point of the severe weather outlook is what we're about to get to right now. So if you remember anything, remember this, what I'm about to explain to you, heading through the severe weather season and through the spring and throughout the year. Because a state like Colorado, we get any type of weather, anytime, any month. And you know that by now. Here is what we're looking at here. This is where the meat of the forecast, meat of the severe weather season comes into play. Your severe weather risk outlook here. This is your level 1 through 5 risk chart, starting with a level 1 marginal risk in green, level 2 slight risk in yellow, level 3 enhanced risk in orange, level 4 moderate risk in red, very rare, level 5 high risk in purple, fuchsia, still debate going on about it, but regardless, high risk, very rare, and you may see a few high risk issued across the country, maybe per year, just a handful of those issued per decade. And as your severe weather level goes up, meaning say you started with a level 1 risk, marginal risk, and as you moved from 2 days out to 1 day out, you could see it upgraded to a slight risk. The reason for that would be more modes of severe weather most likely are possible. So with a marginal risk, you could see a very 50-50 shot of severe weather in terms of possibly some light hail, maybe some damaging winds. But as you move up to a slight risk, maybe you toss in a smaller tornado risk. So it's all based on what the Storm Prediction Center is seeing days out and refining that forecast as they move closer to the event. But as I mentioned, the higher you go on the scale, the more serious it is in terms of severe weather potential. Regardless, though, not an overall guarantee of severe weather occurring. And the Storm Prediction Center, this isn't the only aspect of the severe weather outlook that they issue. They also issue what's called the fail-safe opportunity. And the fail-safe opportunity is the other side of the severe weather outlook, meaning as you issue these severe weather outlooks for potential severe weather days out and possibly less than 24 hours until a big event, folks are going to be concerned, and folks who have experienced severe weather, some of them are going to be scared, and rightfully so. And so the Storm Prediction Center has come up with something just for those folks to read to give them a little bit of comfort. And that's the fail-safe method. That's them saying, hey, we're scientists and we're really knowledgeable about the weather and really knowledgeable about meteorology, but we're not going to tell you that our forecast is always right 100% of the time. It's weather and weather changes like that, especially here in southern Colorado. Now, the fail-safe method is a page or two that gives the opportunities for the potential severe weather outlook to what we call bust and not come to fruition. So severe weather would pass through and not occur. And as you move further up in the scale, for example, move up from a level 1 to a 2 to maybe a 3, you see the fail-safe methods go down, which the fail-safe method is just the other side of the coin. Basically, another way to look at your severe weather outlook. So instead of looking at what you're seeing that could happen in terms of severe weather, you flip the metaphorical paper over, if you will, and it shows what could stop this from happening as well. So all this to say, this is a very, very simple way and a very innovative way to explain the severe weather potential for your specific area, your neighborhood, and your own backyard, while leaving out the science and leaving out all the complex details that go into a forecast, because this is what matters back at home. And to answer the broad question, if you don't remember anything I've said today, remember these colors here, and remember if you do see a severe weather outlook, that it's going to fit into one of these 5 categories. And if it's not painted in one of those categories and it's a map that says severe weather risk, take another look at it and say, where did this come from? Because I remember when Trey was showing me the severe weather outlook from the official Storm Prediction Center, there were only these 5 colors there. And the Storm Prediction Center is the end-all be-all for severe weather forecasting. So they're really hammering down this year and into the future with social media on the rise, the opportunity for meteorologists to provide life-saving information and to educate you as to what the official outlooks will look like on a regular basis and who will issue them, what they will look like in terms of potential changes as well. A lot of jargon, a lot of science, a lot of talk about colors and changes and severe weather opportunity, what's on the other side of the metaphorical paper. All of that can be forgotten for these colors once again, and then I'll tell you what to do just like that if you're looking to plan, or maybe you need to take some action. This is what you're going to see. Once again, level 1 marginal risk in green, level 2 slight risk in yellow, 3 orange enhanced risk, level 4 moderate risk in red, and level 5 very rare fuchsia purple. Debate's still raging on, so toss in your suggestion there. What color do you think that is? That high risk, very rare, but if you see it, it's a very historical event, possibly could take shape as well. But that's your Storm Prediction Center outlook issued by the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma. We dove through some of the science as well as how it comes to fruition, days up to minutes from an event. And that's where you get it, straight out of Norman, Oklahoma, the best meteorologist in the world, writing a forecast for you at home 24/7, 365.